Back in Cincinnati, ready for game 2 of this 3-game series. Joe Davis, Or Hershiser, and on the field, brought to you by El Pollo Loco, Alana Rizzo.
All right, Joe, thanks very much. Chris Taylor in game 1 of this series, 2 for 4, including a 2-run shot that put the Dodgers on the board a little bit in that game yesterday. Time now for our Land Rover Performance Spotlight. Chris Taylor really illustrating that he seems to be getting back on track offensively. In the month of September, he's tied for first in average in the National League. He's also first in OPS and slugging, and he's third in the league in on-base percentage. He's been working on a couple of things mechanically, keeping the bat path in the strike zone a lot more. Looking like it's working for him offensively, guys.
And Dave Roberts choosing to put him in the lineup because of that, even with the right-handed pitcher on the mound today in Luis Castillo. This is what the entire lineup looks like, with Jock Peterson to lead things off, and then Max Muncy starting at second base today with Justin Turner getting the day off. It's Machado hitting third and starting at third. Bellinger, Grandal, and Verdugo through the heart of the order. Taylor's the shortstop with Machado sliding over to the hot corner, and Puig in right in front of Hyun-Jin Ryu. Which Luis Castillo are we going to see? And really, he's been a whole lot more consistent over the last few months, but even recently, Oral, one night he can look like Cy Young, the next night he can blow up. So, for example, his last 2 starts, 6 2/3 shutout innings against a very hot St. Louis team, but then he follows that up by giving up 5 runs against San Diego Thursday.
The slider and the changeup have been very consistent. It's the fastball command that gets him in trouble. When he all of a sudden gets that up, that's a lot of hits. He doesn't throw a 4-seamer up in the zone. He happens to throw a 2-seamer predominantly. And when he throws that and it's up, it's flat and stays on the barrel and gets hit an awful lot.
25 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. And the Dodgers already saw him once in May back at Dodger Stadium, and he held him to 3 runs over 6 innings, got the win in that game. Because of course he did, because he plays for the Cincinnati Reds in 2018, and for whatever reason, the Dodgers just have not been able to solve them yet. 0-5 against the Reds. And they had won 8 in a row against Cincinnati, 17 of 19 coming into the year. Off we go with a fastball to 97 and strike 1 on Jock Peterson. One ball and 1 strike. 10-6 Cincinnati last night. Even with that, the Dodgers 11-5 in their last 16 games. And starting tonight, game and a half back in the division. Rockies and Diamondbacks will get going in a little bit in game 2 from Denver. On a 2-1. Peterson cracks one off the bag, and it ricochets into left center for a leadoff hit. So Jock snaps an 0 for 13 and starts the night with a single.
A couple of fastballs, a changeup, and then Jock picks on this pitch right up the middle. Hitting the bag helped out an awful lot because the ball's hit so hard. No matter how you field that cleanly, you're probably going to have time to throw him out, but it makes it through.
Now Max Muncy, starting at second base today. Something he's done a dozen times this year. He takes ball 1. Max, even with the ups and downs that he's went through, more downs than ups in the second half of the season, full body of work, leading the National League in slugging. On this 1-0 pitch, he takes a strike in the corner.
We've had rare times when he has also lost control of the strike zone as you look at those great power numbers from Max Muncy. But other than that, you really feel like you can trust Max in the moment and for the long term because of that command of the strike zone and, of course, the pop.
There's that changeup from Castillo. Put him ahead of Muncy, 1-2.
A bit of a short arm delivery and great arm speed with the changeup. You see how the arm wants to maybe come out of the back of his head. He still kind of flattens his wrist out a little bit as he comes up to that high arm angle. Very deceptive delivery.
Throws it again. This one has diving action to it to get his first strikeout of the night. The Reds defense behind Luis Castillo, brought to you by Keck Medicine of USC. Dodgers catch a bit of a break in this one, and that there is no Billy Hamilton in center. Instead, it's the rookie Gabriel Guerrero making his first career start there.
Another Gold Glover at first, not in there, and Votto.
Yeah, you got Brandon Dixon instead. One on, one out. Here's Machado. Couple of hits in last night's game for Manny, and the offense was not the issue last night, even though there was some opportunities early where they couldn't cash in. End of the night, 6 runs. You expect to win.
They executed in a sensational way, but they didn't execute in the routine way on offense, stranding a couple runners at third with less than 2 outs. But you're right, a couple of home runs. You feel like 6 runs should be enough, but Alex Wood had a rough night, and so did the defense.
It's kind of turned on its head as far as the phase of the game carrying the team, where it had been pitching. Lately, starting pitching's not been nearly as good. Bottom of the zone for a strike, 2-1 on Machado. In fact, last 6 games, starting pitching has an ERA around 6.
If he gets that pitch, he's going to be very tough to back that up with a changeup.
Here comes 2-1. There is that changeup. 2-2.
Starts the same height as the fastball that was called for a strike, but you lose a little velocity, so you're out in front, and you lose a little height because of the spin on the ball and the changeup. That combination is devastating.
And when he gets here to 2 strikes, Earl, he throws the changeup almost half the time. Machado digs it out, base hit to left. He did go with a changeup, but Machado was ready for it. 2 on with 1 out.
That is superstar technique. Just to be that calm and to be able to hit 98 and then go down to 88 and to keep the bat in the hitting area long enough. Committed to the swing, really shouldn't have as far as reading the position of the ball, but has to guard that low strike because of the fastball earlier, and did an amazing job hitting that changeup.
Now, Manny says he developed that bat control of his as a young kid, taking batting practice in the neighborhood park, because he hated nothing more than having to go all over the park to pick the bucket of balls up once he was finished with a round of BP. So he got really good at hitting them all to the same spot in 1 round. That's ball 1 on Bellinger. So he'd hit them all to left field, then he'd hit them all to center field, and the next round all to right field, just so he didn't have to span the entire outfield grass. Hated bending over to pick him up, put him in the bucket, walking another 100 feet, picking up another. No, I'd put him in a pile. 2-0.
That'd be quite a sprint program to put a bucket like in center field, and then when you go out to shag all your balls, you got to sprint the bucket, put it back, go get the next one, sprint. You could do your cardio in between rounds.
Yeah. So you'd be in much better shape if you didn't have very good bat control.
But you might not have a job.
Yeah, that's true. 2-1 on Cody. He was sitting above 340 since the start of August. Came off of the bench last night, had a hit and a walk. Two and 2. Cody, one of the 4 left-handed hitters in the lineup tonight. 5 if you include the switch hitting Osmani Grandal because of this. Left-handers have an OPS more than 300 points higher than righties against Castillo. On a 2-2, Bellinger swings and misses. Second K, second one with a changeup. 2 gone in the first.
89 feels like hitting speed, but it's not when you can throw 98. That's changing speeds. Ball's got some nice movement there at the very end.
So it's up to Grandal here in the first inning. He takes ball one. Good to see Osmani with a home run last night. Hitting just 123 in his last 30 games. Two on, two out, 1-0. The change fades away, ball two.
Strike zone feels a little liberal when the ball is down, but not liberal when the ball is slightly wide. Kind of tight east to west, a little more liberal north south.
2-1. Homer last night for Osmani was his 23rd this year. One of those 23 home runs came against Castillo in that game at Dodger Stadium in early May. On this 2-1, Grandal smacks it foul, 2-2. Peterson off of second, Machado off of first. Grandal swings and misses, and he gets 3 Ks in that inning on that changeup of his. Hyun-Jin Ryu ready to take the mound for the first time tonight as the Dodgers try to even this series up at a game apiece. Back to Cincinnati in a moment. Runs over its last 4 games. Here's the 9 that Jim Riggleman sends out tonight with Scott Scheffler to lead it off. Then Peraza. Back-to-back All-Stars 3 and 4. Jeanette and Suarez. Irvin is in left. Casali does the catching. Then Dixon. Then Guerrero against Hyun-Jin Ryu, whose line was not pretty against the Mets on Wednesday, giving up those 5 runs. Although just one of them was earned, and among the 10 hits that he allowed, many of them were very soft.
It was 50-50. A lot of bloopers. Some outs that we didn't record that usually do. Kike Hernandez had a ball just go over his glove on a pop-up. Verdugo coming in on a pop-up couldn't get to something that he probably should have. So he pitched in bad luck, but the stuff is still there. He's going to fill the zone up with strikes.
Against a team that likes to swing at strikes and makes a lot of contact when they do. One of the highest on base percentages in the National League. First pitch breaking ball gets him ahead of Scott Schebler 0-1. Made his debut with the Dodgers 2015. Was traded in that three-way deal that sent Todd Frazier to Chicago. Trace Thompson to the Dodgers. It's inside and it's 1-1. It's interesting looking at the differences in Hyun-Jin Ryu before the DL stint and since coming back. That's a little bit outside and it's 2-1. The hits have gone up despite a lower hard hit rate, but the walks and the homers are down, and when you blend it all together, the ERA is right about the same. Ground ball, Max Muncy. One gone. Muncy part of this defense, brought to you by Keck Medicine of USC. A little bit different look to it tonight with Justin Turner getting the day off. That means Machado slides to third. Taylor gets the start at short. In the outfield tonight, Peterson, Verdugo, and Puig.
Verdugo earning a start with all the great at-bats that he's been having. Dave Roberts loves the way he looks in the box. Instead of just getting him up there in key situations as a pinch hitter, wants to see him maybe for 3 or 4 at-bats.
Jose Peraza is in that same deal that sent Scott Schebler to the Reds from the Dodgers. And he's been swinging a hot bat lately. .480 in his last 6 games. Smokes one to left, another base hit. That one scoots by Peterson, and Peraza's got a 1-out double.
Picks on a high fastball, trying to go low and away, ends up down the middle and up, and Peraza does not miss it. Hits it so hard that 2-3 hops get by Jock Peterson. You don't see a lot of doubles to almost straightaway left field, but hit that one hard enough to get to the wall.
From one hot hitter to another, and the National League batting race leader Scooter Gennett, who bumped his average to .320 with a 4-hit night last night.
He has such a smooth swing. You know, he hits for power, but when the ball is a mistake, he just has a nice cut where the barrel stays in the hitting area for a long, long time.
Ryu starts him with a breaking ball for a strike. I had to do a double take on his numbers against the Dodgers this year. Did you see those?
730 something?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
He's 14 for 19 against LA.
Tongue in cheek, people saying, you know, if he wins the batting title, thank the Dodgers. He still has to put the swing on it, but boy, has he hit the Dodgers really well.
Asking down to third, no swing. A ball and a strike. He's still got a good average without having played the Dodgers, .305. But when you incorporate his 5 games against LA, .320.
Well, when a team is 5-0 against you, the middle of their lineup has probably done well, and Joey Votto's on-base percentage against the Dodgers is ridiculous. And its batting average against the Dodgers, ridiculous.
One ball, one strike. Fouled off, 1-2. Gennett tiny, listed at 5'10". Nobody's ever what they're listed. 5'10", 180 pounds, always been the smallest guy. And he said he remembers one time in Little League, another parent flat out telling him that he was too small to make it as a baseball player. And still thinks about that.
Okay, if baseball's not your sport because you're not tall enough, what is your sport?
Well, maybe the parent was telling him he shouldn't play sports.
Holy smokes.
He showed them. 2-2.
Dustin Pedroia, Altuve.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't all grow up in the same hometown. We wouldn't have had 3 big leaguers that around that parent. That's such an interesting thing, the impact parents and adults around youth sports can have with those opinions. And a lot of them, you know, own a gas station or work at a bakery, and they're coming with this high-level, high-impactful advice to kids that might change the course of their life. And it's like, no, let the kids play. Let them, if they enjoy it and they have a passion for it, let them play. Let them have fun. Don't tell them what they can and can't be.
Maybe this parent just knew a lot more about motivation than any of us.
That's true.
Full count. Knew that Scooter was going to take it and run with it and fuel his rise to the majors.
Yeah, Scooter's one of those guys that needs to burn his saddle.
Milwaukee drafted him out of high school in Florida. That was in '09. Debuted in the majors in 2013 and then came to Cincinnati last year. It's after the Brewers cut him loose. It was a waiver claim. Peraza leads at second. Ryu comes home and misses outside, ball 4.
Guy who's leading the batting race and got a runner in scoring position. That's a strategic walk in a way. If he wants to make an out on a good pitch, go ahead and try and hit it. If you don't, stand over there in first.
So the Reds have him at first and second for the National League leader in RBIs, Eugenio Suarez. It is 32nd home run of the season last night. That places him third in the National League. Yeah, broke the tie with Javier Baez in the runs batted in column. Strike 1. It's amazing that he's leading the league in a cumulative category like runs batted in, and he missed almost 3 weeks of April. What's even more amazing is that he missed 3 weeks with a broken thumb. He was back in the lineup 3 weeks later, had a 4-hit game in his second day back.
Around the Reds organization, they say there is no better person to root for. On and off the field, he is a great teammate, a great person with the media, with the staff around here. Just a wonderful individual.
Now, Eugenio worked really hard to learn English so he could be kind of the link through the entire clubhouse between the English-speaking players, the Spanish-speaking players. A lot of times you hear about an English-speaking guy kind of taking charge in that regard, learning Spanish to be able to better relate with the Spanish-speaking players, but this one goes kind of the other way around.
That effort goes a long way. It really does. And sometimes that can happen in a clubhouse where there's not a prejudice, but there is a separation because one side or the other doesn't make the effort. And so in not making the effort, it feels like there's a distance.
2-2.
Nobody makes the effort to like cross over the line and invite people to dinner, be inclusive in the outgoing dinners. When you walk into the food room, if there's 5 tables that house the team and they're getting the food and they come back to sit, you sit, you know, not just in your culture at the time, that you make it into one culture. And it really does change from year to year depending on the people that speak Spanish or don't speak Spanish, the English speakers, that make an effort to cross over.
2-2 pitch. Just fouled off, and we'll do it again. I mean, these guys spend so much time together.
More than with your family.
All those qualities combined with the numbers that you saw, that's why they wanted him around for a long time. Signed him to a 7-year extension this offseason through 2025. So he'll be a Red through at least his age 33 season. Another 2-2, and Ryu gets him swinging for out number 2.
When a team has really good communication, you can do it with maybe 1 or 2 leaders to help the clubhouse along. But when a team is separate, you need a leader in your bullpen. You need a leader in your starting rotation. You need a leader in your infield. You need a leader in your Spanish community. You need a leader in your English community. And all of a sudden, if the team is not communicating, it's not a great culture, it is more complicated to be a team member. But yeah, when you get everybody on the same page, you can have one voice and one leadership, one guy.
2 on 2 out for Phil Irvin. Who were those guys when you were with the Dodgers?
We had most of the time a team because of Tommy, and he's such a big personality, he wouldn't let that kind of stuff exist. But the leader in the bullpen was usually somebody that was the closer, like Kenley Jansen is with this Dodger club. Jay Howell was a great leader down there for the few years he was down there in our championship year. I played with some great leaders. I thought Dave Winfield and Eddie Murray were absolutely fantastic, and I got to play with them in Cleveland when I was an Indian, not a Dodger. As a Dodger, it felt like Tommy was the leader the most of the time, you know, but Gibby was there for sure, and Mike Scioscia was that guy. In the rotation, it depended. Our rotation usually wasn't like one verbal leader as much it was the staff fought together.
Flipped into short right field. Muncy going away, puts it away, and finishes off a scoreless first inning for a smiling Hyun-Jin Ryu. Through with 1 in Cincy, no score.
More RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone.
Alex Verdugo to lead off the second for the Dodgers in a scoreless game. Luis Castillo comes home with a fastball for strike 1. Well, we didn't have to wait long to get a good look at that changeup that everybody talks about. You got 3 strikeouts in the first inning, all of them with the change.
And you can see how the fastball command sets up. The slider he's thrown once, but the changeup for sure.
Verdugo pops it gently left side. Suarez has it for the first out.
Because of that little hesitation in his delivery too, it makes it more deceiving. So when he breaks his hands from his glove and separates and gets into his arm swing, it actually kind of delays up back around his head. And then all of a sudden it's like throwing a dart at you. He takes it and separates it kind of conventionally, but then there's a little like pause right here where he kind of loads it with at the top. And then it's like swinging it towards you with the same arm speed on the fastball and changeup, and it's hard to pick up the difference.
One out. One of the hottest Dodger hitters, Chris Taylor, looks at ball one. As Alana told you off of the top, Chris Taylor 7 for 14 this month with 2 home runs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Just missed another last night to the opposite field, flying to the wall. Return of the home run power has come as he has actually kind of gone the other way with the swing and with the swing thought. Not putting as much of an effort on elevating the ball. Just trying to have a good level swing path, keep the bat in the zone for as long as he can. And home runs have been a byproduct of that. On this 1-2, takes ball 2.
His front side is so much calmer. As the anxiety built in the slump, it felt like to me that he was overloading the top half and almost tilting his spine forward, and then he had to unwind it with a big uppercut.
4th strikeout on a changeup.
I don't think we should replay all these strikeouts. It's almost the same pitch and the same swing. You know, he's out front. The ball goes under the barrel. They're going to have to make an adjustment second time around.
2 gone for Puig, who homered against Castillo in May. Hits a hard chopper to short. Peraza finishing a 1-2-3 second for Castillo.
Independent conversations earlier today with both Clayton Kershaw and Rich Hill about what impresses them the most about Hyunjin Ryu, and they both said independently his feel for pitching, the way that he's able to change the shape of his certain pitches, and also the fact that he doesn't have the traditional in-between routine as far as in-between starts are concerned. And he said, you know, both Clayton and Rich said the way that he's able to even miss the amount of time he missed on the disabled list, the fact that he doesn't have a lot of side sessions or bullpen sessions, and he still has amazing feel, is one of the things that impresses them the most. Dave Roberts added to the conversation by saying this is the best shape he's ever seen him in, and while you may not seem like it at the time, if you look at him, also one of the more athletic guys as far as his pitching staff is concerned.
All right, Alana misses with his first pitch here in the second to Kurt Casale. We see flashes of it, that athleticism through his fielding, more lately through his hitting. And I think it's probably hard to have a delivery that's as consistently smooth as his if he's not an elite athlete.
It's a big body, and it's quite a lever system, and he is very, very good with his eye-hand coordination and his rhythm. I think more than that, when they're talking about feel of changing the shape of his pitches, changing speeds, his knowledge of hitting and what the hitter is trying to do. He's very good at reading swings, understanding what he did and how do they react to it.
2-2.
He's definitely not a bull in a china shop. You know, he's got a lot of finesse in him.
Which is interesting because there is a little bit of bull in a china shop in his family tree. I think we've talked about before, his dad was a rugby player.
It is a tough individual and a tough sport.
Brings another 2-2 and has Casale swinging and missing and a changeup for the first out.
You know, Ryu's heartbeat could be taken as soft, but I take it as poise as we take a look at this pitch on Carl's cam. Change up away. He's just got a great heartbeat that we talk about with hitters in the batter's box and closers that can take the pressure and go out and still perform. He has such a consistent rhythm and makeup out there, but it doesn't, you don't take it as soft and not competitive. You take it as really just kind of intellectually in command.
Ball one on Brandon Dixon. The Dodgers have the 4 left-handers in the rotation, but all a little bit different. Drilled to left field and a no-doubt shot for Dixon to open the scoring.
Cut fastball that doesn't make it all the way in. Stays in the middle of the plate. This is what we have seen from this Reds lineup throughout the year. It's not just production at the top or in the middle. It's throughout the lineup that they get production. And their first run comes from the 7 spot.
Gabriel Guerrero looks at a strike on the corner. This part gives up more home runs than any other in baseball, but didn't matter what ballpark we were in. That thing was long gone. Other than 2.
Finally, a foul ball off your body that actually hits the shin guard. Seems like about 90% of them miss.
Got him to chase. 2 out.
You replay a pitch prior to the home run, you replay a pitch after the home run, you're not going to see anything change out there on the mound. Still locked in, still trying to execute. No extra effort. Find that same rhythm.
The pitcher, Castillo, takes a strike. That's 1-1. One and two. Ryu back downhill with a 2-2 to Castillo, and he got him swinging to finish the Reds in the second. But Cincinnati with the game's first run on a homer from Brandon Dixon, and after two, 1-0. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try something different like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls. Only at Jack in the Box for a limited time. Another pretty cool day here in Cincinnati with a temperature in the high 60s as the Dodgers try to draw even in the middle game of this three-game set. Joe, Orel, and Alana 1-0 as we go to the third, and Hyun-Jin Ryu gets ready to lead it off.
This is where he becomes the monster.
That is for sure.
Big swings, not much rhythm.
Can't wait for the day when he hits one out.
Oh yeah,
it's coming.
And that's when he'll break into rhythm. It'll be a trot. It could be a slow trot. I don't see him sprinting around the bases.
One ball and one strike. Having a good year at the plate. Strokes one down the line, peeling, foul. Peterson and Muncy to follow here in the third.
The Ryu swing is one that flies apart, but for some reason he can still hit the ball.
On the barrel frequently.
Yeah, but that whole front side is gone. He spins like a top.
Change up, he goes around on it. One away. It's already 5 Ks once through the order for Luis Castillo, and Jock Peterson, who has one of the 2 Dodger hits, comes up.
Jock not needing to make an adjustment because he got the hit and locked in, but the rest of the lineup is really going to need to make an adjustment to the changeup fastball combination.
Started him with a change here, and it's 0-1. As a player, does the fact that you're in a very tight race cancel out the lack of environment as far as giving you juices to play with, or do you still have to trick yourself not to be a little bit sleepy in an environment like this?
I think you still have to trick yourself. I know it's a little easier to trick yourself because you know the value of the game and a shortened season. I don't even think we're in the season anymore. I think we're like in a sprint. This is like a very long series that we're playing.
Another strikeout, 2 gone.
But there are some natural juices that occur when the fans' volume increases, when the intensity of the cheering increases. You can't help it. Your body reacts to it, and you feed off it if you're a big leaguer that enjoys that environment. And so, yeah, you have to create that energy, some other source. I used to love it when the crowds were this size and we're on the road and somebody gets really ornery, either in the bullpen or over the bench, and starts yelling at you and ripping on you because the guy had no idea he was inspiring me, and he was bringing that energy that it used to take 40, 50,000 people to create in that moment, but he was creating the energy with his ugly things that he was saying.
0-1 on Max Muncy. Kind of like the mean parent to Scooter Gennett all those years ago.
Yeah, the inspiration, you don't know where it's coming from and you don't know what you're doing to somebody, but yeah, I used to love those guys. Please get on my first name. Please tell me I'm bad. Because I am imagining you going up the tunnel going, that Hershiser got us today. Doggone it. You know? And it comes from the positive side too, with little kids, you know, hey, go out and have a good game. You know, it's my first game. Da, 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 da. You go, okay, I'm imagining that kid walking out of here going, wow, wasn't that fun, Dad? Wasn't that amazing? They did well today. So it was a great motivating force for me.
Castillo trying to strike out the side in the 3rd. Try to get Muncy to chase changeup as he did the first time. He was disciplined here, and the count evens at 2-2.
You know, in our day, Joe, my day, there was the saying of pre-play. You still talk about it. You got to pre-play things that are going to happen in your life. And that's how I would do that kind of stuff with the ornery fan and the good fan.
1-2-3 inning. 3 Ks swinging. That is 7 of them through 3 for Luis Castillo.
exciting matchups, including the Cubs and the Yankees. Receive 2018 postseason rights with the purchase of your 2019 season tickets. Visit Dodgers.com/season tickets.
Second time through the order for Cincinnati. Ryu misses with his first one to Scott Schepler. Reds getting a run in the second and a home run from Brandon Dixon. Ryu has 4 Ks. He's walked 1. Here's another towering drive that you can forget about. 2-0 Cincinnati and a pair of long solo homers.
Reds offense has been hot up and down the order. They have also been very good against left-handed starting pitching. And Schepler in the leadoff hole as a lefty, having no problem with the left-on-left situation. Picks on a high fastball and does not miss it. A breakout year for him.
And a 2-0 hole for Ryu and the Dodgers. Here's Jose Peraza, who doubled his first time. Looks at a center cut strike. Floated to second, caught by Muncy. Dodger pitching on the season has been the best in baseball. As far as the starters go, best in the National League at least, but against Cincinnati, the ERA is above 6.
It's a tough time of the year to have the starters hit a skid. They have been the foundation of when the offense has been good. They, of course, win when the bullpen needed a little padding. The starters handed them a big lead. If the starters all of a sudden get a flat tire, it's going to be tough to drive in the corners. Going to skid a little bit.
Scooter Gennett lays a bunt down. Ryu gets to it, quickly pivots and throws him out. That's an example of what Alana was talking about earlier, having discussed with Clayton Kershaw and Rich Hill on Jin Ryu's deceptive athleticism.
It's not world-class speed, but it's world-class reactions and then agility as he gets down to bend over for the ball, gets his body in the right position to turn. Barely even takes a step, really just kind of a pivot towards first base. Knowing where the bag is in the back of his mind as he turns to throw.
With 2 gone at Suarez. He'll take strike 1. Ryu struck him out his first time, although kind of got away with a fastball that was thigh high and over the middle. He's back home with an 0-1, and Suarez leaves this one up. 1 ball, 1 strike. That falls in there, 1-2. One more game in this series tomorrow, 9:30 Los Angeles time, for the Dodgers fly to St. Louis for 4 with the Cardinals. Ross Stripling for the Dodgers tomorrow. Kind of a bullpen day. Dave Roberts estimating 3 innings, 45 pitches or so for Ross. Anthony DeSclafani for the Reds. Ryu to Suarez, 2-2. Yanks a base hit to left center.
Juggling the rotation strategically to get the matchups for Clayton Kershaw that you want going down the stretch against Colorado and Arizona. You don't have complete flexibility when you are trailing. Take a few more liberal moves that you want to line people up for the postseason and even some other the whole rotation for certain series if you had a lead, but when you're chasing you can only toggle it so much.
Phil Irvin bats with 2 gone, takes a strike in the corner. First round pick of the Reds a few years back out of Alabama. Originally from a town called Leroy, Alabama, then stayed there for his college ball in Samford. Made his debut last year. And then the opening day roster this year. But spent much of the summer in AAA before getting called back up in late July. He's ahead 2-1. Two and two. You can see on that ball being flipped into the seats again, there's a lot of Dodger blue here.
Everyone is guaranteed a foul ball today.
They gave you a ticket when you came through the door.
Yeah.
Full count. Suarez takes off and it's flipped foul. We'll do it again. The Dodgers won 8 consecutive games against Cincinnati prior to this season. 17 of 19. And this 5-game losing streak against him this year. That's the longest they've had within one season against the Reds since Reds wasn't all they were called. They were the Big Red Machine. Like a 1976 last time they dropped this many in a row against Cincinnati. Trying to end that skid tonight. Trying to do it in come from behind fashion. Down 2-0 after 3.
Luis Castillo has been absolutely dotting the fastball, which then really sets up the changeup. Outstanding movement, elevating the fastball a few times, but has not had to do that very often with the dominance of the changeup, the great arm speed and deception.
It's a changeup that he started throwing just a few years ago when he was in the minors. So it's not one of those things where the Reds signed him out of the Dominican Republic because he had a great change. A kind of a show-me changeup, but he developed this one that's made him a guy with, like his catcher Tucker Barnhart says, video game type stuff. He's kind of developed on his own. He's a young minor leaguer. This is with his first one to Manny Machado. Just tinkering around with different grips during a bullpen session. He's jammed to right. Scott Schebler for the first out. And he decided to grip it with all 5 fingers. Basically wrapped his whole hand around the ball. So let's see how this works. Threw it like it was a fastball. Just gripped it entirely differently. And said, wow, I like how that thing's moving. Refined it and has continued to refine it. It's one of the better change-ups that you're going to find. Here's Bellinger with 1 out. Strike 1.
The farther out on your fingertips, the looser your lever system, your arm, your wrist, your elbow are, and you can make the ball go fast. The deeper into your hand that you get with the shorter fingers, the thumb and the baby finger, to get 5 around the ball, it has to be deep in your hand. And to do that, it starts to lock your wrist up. It starts to slow your elbow down, starts to slow your shoulder down from the tension. That helps take velocity off, and it helps spin the baseball deeper in your hand. The trick is, or the talent is the ball, when it gets deeper into your hand, has a tendency you don't feel like you have as much control with it. It's hard to develop control. So why doesn't everybody learn this pitch? Because this particular grip or way going about it, it's sometimes hard to command.
How many different change-up grips did you try throughout your pitching life?
5, 6, maybe more as you even tinker with those basic ones.
It's almost like there's an infinite number of ways to, just the basic concept of a changeup, to do it.
And it's not grip alone. That's the funny thing that a lot of young pitchers think.
Bellinger taps it to first. There's Dixon.
It's how the grip relates to your delivery and your arm angle and your grip pressure and the size of your hand. So pitchers are always experimenting. They're always looking to stumble on that amazing grip and amazing pitch that fits everything that I just said.
He's discovered one that works for him, leading the majors in strikeouts on changeups. That's how he got Grandal in the first inning. That's how he starts him here, but misses 1-0.
That's why when you're trying to learn pitching, if you find somebody in your league or on your team that has kind of your delivery, your arm angle, your body size, and they have an effective pitch, better to ask them, how do you grip your slider? How do you grip your curveball or changeup, compared to some guy that doesn't even look like you, has a completely different arm angle, completely different stature. And then asking them, you're going to get a closer match to effectiveness with the same body type, same delivery, same arm angle.
2-2.
I got the same volume knob as you. Why doesn't my stereo sound the same? You know, that's an intricate end part of the equation.
Yeah, I got the same paint job on my sports car. Why isn't it as fast as yours?
Exactly.
Open the hood.
Right. Perfect. Way better example.
You showed me the way, though, Oral.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
2-2 again. Another gentle ground ball, right side. And that's the inning. 1-2-3 go the Dodgers. That's 11 in a row retired by Luis Castillo.
at home. The first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Manny Machado bobblehead presented by State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
2-0 Cincinnati on a pair of solo home runs as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Hey, how about their it's not a t-shirt cannon, it's a ball cannon, but it is the best in the league. Kirk Sally leads off this fourth for the Reds.
I got a video of about second half of their run, and I'm going to post it.
You guys know how to post videos to Facebook? Here it is. Check
here
this thing
it is.
out. They beat you to it.
Well, you know, there might be some people, you know, that haven't seen it. They're going to want a copy of this.
They shoot the balls so fast you can't even see them coming out of the cannons. Make it easily into the upper deck.
It is so cool. Got me out of my chair almost.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
You folks should have seen him.
Like,
what is going on down there? Oh, it's a t-shirt gun. 2-1 on wheels.
As you get older, there just takes less and less to get you excited. Just, wow, I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's the little things, huh?
The t-shirt cannon, the ball cannon, yeah. But, you know, also with the dry ice smoke that's coming out.
Right, the effects on it were great.
Yeah.
A 2-1 delivery. Casale pops it up. Not nearly as high as the balls out of the cannon. 1 out. Well, the Reds got on the board in this game with a home run from this man, Brandon Dixon, in the second. We look back at it on StatCast AI, powered by AWS. 112 the exit velocity. Anything above 95 is considered hard hit. Guy who was originally drafted by the Dodgers. Watches a first pitch curve, clip the corner, strike one. It's another high fly ball to left field. Peterson's got room for this one. It seems like every guy in the lineup we're talking about having been traded from the Dodgers. 55 trades between the franchises all time coming into this year. And then just trying to think, Dylan Floro would have made it 56. Trying to think if there was another one that it was under the radar that happened this season. First one, though, back in the 1800s between Brooklyn and Cincinnati. That's strike one on Guerrero. Pop cork kill. Cincinnati to Brooklyn, 1888. That's inside, and it's 1-1.
You forgive me if it was a little bit before my time. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I forget.
Cool name, though.
It is. They all were cool in 1888, though, weren't they?
Yeah.
Free swing, and Guerrero's behind 1-2.
I think throughout history they've just dropped their Bill and Tom and Bob, and just their nicknames came through when they wrote the history on this stuff.
Could be.
You know
the way that they went down in history was in the newspaper writers' accounts. Yeah. A lot of times that's what they went with, was the nicknames.
And then as they recorded the box scores or kept scores in those days, it wasn't like it was on the internet, right? It was all handwritten. And if the official scorer put him in as Pop, that's what
Pop
he became.
He was.
That's what he is.
That is the first major league hit for Gabriel Guerrero. Congratulations.
That ball will go with him, go home, and he'll decide to give it to his parents or keep it himself. It will have a special destination. That is a good close-up of a baseball.
So they'll give that to the Major League Baseball authenticator. We'll put the official gold sticker on it. Strike one on Luis Castillo, fouling it off. Strike two. Jin trying to put up his first 0 since the first. Reds getting a solo home run in the second and in the third.
Big first hit for Guerrero, but good for the Reds as far as trying to win this game to turn the lineup over.
Got him in the corner. And the inning is over. That's strikeout number 6 for Hyun-Jin Ryu. Offense trying to get it going as we go to the 5th. California Toyota dealers. Toyota's 2018 clearance countdown is on. Get the biggest savings on an adventurous new RAV4. We're back in Cincinnati. Hope you're having a great afternoon. Dodgers battling from behind in this one, 2-0, and a couple solo homers. Joe Davis, Oral Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and Luis Castillo back to the bump. Haven't allowed just 2 singles so far. And he's retired 11 straight as his 5th inning begins with Alex Verdugo.
Castillo's been getting ahead of the hitters, about 65% first pitch strikes, and that's a nice combination when then you can change speeds after getting ahead.
His first pitch of the 5th is taken outside, ball 1. Now, somewhat of a late bloomer, Luis Castillo. He was a reliever for his first 3 years in the minors. Didn't even reach Double-A until he was 23. That's at the knees and strike 1. And he was traded 3 different times before he reached the major leagues. 2-1 on Verdugo. Originally a Giants farmhand. Traded to the Marlins. Traded to the Padres. Verdugo chops one to second. Scooter Gennett throw him out. That trade to the Padres lasted all of about 2 days. Remember the Colin Ray deal where Colin Ray in his first start with the Marlins elbow gave out, and then information came out that perhaps something had been hit on the physicals that were exchanged between San Diego and Miami.
Right.
Well, Castillo was the return for Ray, and so when Ray's elbow gave out, the Marlins gave him back to San Diego and got Luis Castillo back from San Diego, and then later traded him to the Reds for Dan Straley. That's a strike on Chris Taylor.
You know your player's health better than anybody, and when you trade him away, there has been something that you haven't uncovered or you weren't completely truthful about, yeah, those things can get reversed.
Grounded off the end of the bat. Suarez cuts in front of it at third and guns Taylor out. 2 up and 2 down. Two nothing, 5th inning. Here's Puig. The game almost turned last night on that 11-pitch pinch hit at bat for Yasiel Puig against Jared Hughes. Hit a 111-mile-per-hour line drive with the bases loaded and 1 out. The Dodgers down 4, but directly at Suarez at third. And a double play that ended that inning, ended the Dodger threat. 1-1.
Yeah, he had laced a few balls down the left field line and then finally got one in fair territory and in the air on the sinker. Boy, 3-4 feet left or right, and that clears the bases.
And 3 or 4 millimeters lower as far as where he contacts the ball, and it clears the wall.
Oh yeah, hit hard enough that it wouldn't curve foul. Out of here in the blink of an eye.
Roller to third, backhand Suarez. Another 1-2-3 inning. We're halfway home. The Dodgers still searching. 2-0. Including tonight, the Dodgers a game and a half back in the division. Every game huge. Got to get going here.
Yeah, no matter how many are in attendance, you've got to get it going. You've got to feel like every at bat is your last one. You've got to feel like every pitch really, really counts. And right now, I think Ryu's doing a job. A couple of solo shots, but the offense has got to find a way to get it going.
Luis Castillo's been fabulous.
He's absolutely really, you know what, a young guy that if he shows this kind of fastball command throughout the rest of his career, he's going to be dangerous because really the slider hasn't even come along yet. So the fastball changeup combination, really good.
Ace-like stuff.
Yeah, I mean, first thing that makes you really good is command, and he has shown command, so he looks like an ace tonight, but it's got to be consistent. You've got to be able to do that day in and day out, start in, 4 out of 5 starts, you got to look like this to be an ace.
Strike one on Scott Schebler, who homered his last time up. Reds would love to have him turn into that. they're on pace for their 4th consecutive 90-loss season. That's dribbled along first. Going to be a tough play. Ryu unable to make it. Shebler is a high school track star, despite being a bigger guy. Legs it out for a leadoff single.
Home run in the 3rd and a topper here, and Ryu knows there's not enough time to transfer it. Maybe try and glove it and tag him. Maybe try and glove it and then flip it to Bellinger. Yep, that's what he's trying to do, the little flick of the glove, but there was no ball there.
Anyways, just talking about Cincinnati and kind of the big picture of where they're at right now. This would be a 4th consecutive losing season, 4th consecutive last place finish. They hadn't finished last in 32 years before this run. The problem right now is they're just kind of caught in between. It's not like they're in full rebuild mode yet. Peraza loops a base hit into left field. The first 2 have reached here in the 5th.
There's going to be action in the Dodger bullpen as we watch what you've said, Joe. They are kind of in between. They're trying to find ways to patch it together to make a winner. They've got a big commitment to Joey Votto. Really hard to recruit free agent pitching to this ballpark.
Yeah.
And hard to actually, you know, bring guys up from AAA and say, okay, come on, young man, you can develop here, get a lot of confidence. Those first few reps in this ballpark can scare you.
So manager Jim Riggleman, who took over for Brian Price after the 3-18 start. You know, over the next few months, they played above 500 baseball. Scooter Gennett taking a strike. 19-30 though since the All-Star break. They've got 4 players signed through at least 2020. You mentioned Votto's big contract. Suarez they locked up long term. Did the same thing with Tucker Barnhart, their catcher. Their closer Isel Iglesias. But the farm system, not one of the 2 or 3 best. You know, that's one of the saving graces for Padres fans as they're watching them struggle at the major league level, is knowing that they've got a lot of good things coming up the minor league system. That was one of the saving graces for Cubs fans as they watch them endure all the last place finishes. They're still in 4-0. Same thing in Houston when they were rebuilding. But you don't necessarily have the hallmarks of a championship organization coming soon. And the left center for Gennett. That'll bring home Shebler. The Reds lead at 3-0 and still nobody out in the 5th.
They are very good at making contact. It's not always hard contact, but they give themselves a chance. And the last couple of hits were exactly that. Just little humpback line drives that fall short of the outfielders. But the reason that happens, or has an opportunity to happen, is because they make contact when they swing.
Two on, nobody out. Here's Suarez. Strike 1. One on one. Big breaker has him swinging and missing 1 and 2. Bouncing ball to short, could be two. There's one and two. Taylor to Muncy to Bellinger, 6-4-3. And two gone in the fifth. Here's Phil Irvin. Strike one. There are a couple huge series going on this week in the National League. Cubs and Brewers about to get started at Wrigley. Cubs lead in the division, which was 4 games a little more than a week ago, is down to 1. Brewers trying to get back into a first place tie for the first time since August 1st. And then, of course, that Diamondbacks Rockies series. Zach Greinke against Antonio Senzatella tonight from Denver. First pitch of that game, 5:40 Pacific. High fly ball right field. Puig drifting back at the wall, makes a leaping catch. Just enough room for Puig to bring it in and keep this a 3-0 game. Phil Irvin that close to breaking it loose. See if the Dodger offense can follow that. Down 3-0 to the 6th.
Second in this inning, it is time now for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. You'll notice the red barrel on Jock Peterson's bat. Well, it came from the Louisville Slugger factory right here locally. Backstage Dodgers, they're of course always there behind the scenes. I had a conversation with Jock earlier today, and although he doesn't necessarily use Louisville Slugger bats, he absolutely had a great time. He's kind of a bat collector, if you will. Uses a lot of different types of bats, a lot of different makers of bats. He had an absolute blast today. The one he is using right there is from the factory, guys. Louisville Slugger.
Very cool. It's Chase Utley leading off this inning in front of Jock Peterson. Pinch hitting for Hyun-Jin Ryu, taking a strike, 1-1. So Ryu's night comes to an end. Not a great night, not a bad night by any means, but it's all relative, and compared to the Dodger offensive output tonight, not good enough. Change fades in there, 1-2. Dave Roberts hoping the veteran Utley can solve Castillo. He's retired 14 in a row. Make it 15.
Watching the changeup on the bench for 5 innings, then you get an opportunity to step in the batter's box. Take a look at Carl's cam. Late movement, outstanding arm speed, and then the deception of the arm speed, the ball not traveling as fast as you see the arm come through.
Third time through the lineup. Peterson grounds it foul, strike one. Now they do say though about Luis Castillo, he can be going like this, mowing the opponent down, and then poof, lose it. High drive right field, and the Dodgers have cracked the code with a home run from Jock Peterson. 3-1 here in the 6th. Poof. Number 20 of the season for Jock.
The whole roster might be going to Louisville factory, get a new bat, put it in the rack and use it like this. Poof, there it is.
I don't know if that's the song.
No. Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry.
It rhymes though, so it works.
I'm old and cheesy.
Max Muncy now takes a strike. Good effort though. Appreciate it. That's had to be one of those clubhouse jams back in your day.
Yep, for sure.
Other than 2. Now when things tend to go sideways for Luis Castillo, home runs are part of that. That's 28 that he's allowed this season, and part of it is the park that he's in. That's third most in the National League. Comes back to get Muncy.
The Jock had hit the fastball up the middle that hit the bag, and his first at bat got a hit. He hit the home run, but he hadn't sniffed the changeup. And right now, Castillo really realize, what am I using as my show pitch and what am I using as my out pitch? And Jock picked on the one that it was a show pitch.
3-1 6th inning, Manny Machado. Strike one. Dodgers have 3 hits tonight. Those 2 from Peterson that you mentioned. The other one was Machado on a changeup. 3 hits total, and 2 of the first 3 hitters of the game had hits.
You think about Jock's hit the bag, it probably would have been an out. One up the middle. Peraza was right there, and it was scorched, so there was going to be time to throw him out. Manny's was an outstanding piece of hitting on a changeup that was a great pitch that just had enough of it to find a way to get it to left field. Other than the home run, been completely dominant.
Extends that Major League best home run streak this season, and the LA Dodger record to 19 games in a row with the long ball. Castillo back downhill with a 1-2. Machado breaks his bat. Soft bounce to Suarez. That's that for the Dodgers in the 6th, but they do get on the board on the 20th home run of the season from Jock Peterson. As we go to the bottom of the 6th in Cincy, the Reds 3, the Dodgers 1. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by White Boy Rick, based on a true story. Only in theaters September 14th. Back in Cincinnati for the bottom of the 6th inning. Dodgers getting on the board on the Peterson home run. And now who's in, who's out? Brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. Dylan Floro returns to Cincinnati, where he got his first opportunity this year, really first opportunity of his career to stick with a team and put up very good numbers with the Reds.
And I don't understand how we pried him loose when you look at their bullpen performance, but we're sure glad we've had him. And one of the most reliable Dodger bullpen pieces since acquiring him on July 8th, a 1.54 ERA.
Bottom part of the order coming up here. Kirk Casale, the catcher, then Dixon, then Guerrero. Strike one. One ball, one strike.
Shut down inning time. You get that home run, you climb back into the game, get a little momentum. Now it's time for the bullpen to perform. Hold them right there for the rest of the game and let the offense do the work.
Soft grounder to third. Machado fundamentally sound, picking it up, but then a low throw and needs some help from Bellinger.
High percentage of Manny's throws are starting to go over in the dirt over there, either playing shortstop or third base. Bullet of an arm, but maybe get it up a little bit.
Here's Dixon, who crushed his 5th home run of the season to open the scoring tonight. Dylan Floro's first pitch to him is outside, ball one. Dylan has talked about the confidence being a big thing with him, and something that he was lacking going up and down with the Cubs last year. Found it here in Cincinnati in a Reds uniform before that trade to the Dodgers. Couple sliders. He's behind 2-0. Said last year the thought, just because it seemed like every time he pitched he'd get sent down, was anytime he made a mistake it was, is that going to be it? Am I about to get optioned back to the minors again? Now the mindset is, I want to be the guy that's pitching in the big spots.
That's a huge transformation.
Walks Dixon on 4 pitches. Gabby Guerrero got his first major league hit his last time up. And I'm sure you're wondering, wait a minute, no batting gloves, long hair, Guerrero. Yes, he's related to Vlad. He's his nephew. That's the other thing, is the big swing. It's all Vlad.
His uncle could hit the ball from toes to the nose. There wasn't really one way to get him out. He just had amazing swing, amazing eye-hand coordination. Didn't matter if the swing was long, he'd start early and find a way to make hard contact.
Snap throw down to first, not in time. Checking the swing, no swing, 1-2. We've seen Gabby chase quite a bit. Vlad wasn't afraid to do that. It's just he was probably going to get a hit even though he was chasing. Best bad ball hitter of the generation.
Oh, I think for sure. And it was really hard to pitch to him because you go, okay, I know I can throw this ball 6 inches outside and you probably swing, and you needed to throw it 8. You needed to throw it 10 inches outside. He could he had like extendo arms.
2 out. Of course, Vlad's son is now one of the top minor leaguers in all of baseball. Vlad Guerrero Jr. He hit .402 for Double-A. Got promoted. Hit .336 in Triple-A. Didn't get brought up this September. Probably a service clock issue. Not wanting to start that clock, as we've seen with many guys in recent years. 2 gone for Luis Castillo, who takes a strike at the knees.
Keeps him away from arbitration for an extended period of time, and it keeps him away from free agency. You get to maintain your control of the player.
Other than 2. Most notable examples in recent years: Chris Bryant a few years ago with the Cubs, Ronald Acuna Jr. this year with the Braves. That's that for the Reds here in the 6th. Still in Floro with a scoreless inning. To the late innings we go. Dodgers trying to complete the comeback.
Of Clayton Kershaw's annual ping pong for purpose charity event at Dodger Stadium. Plus, Kershaw welcomes the team into his Dallas home for their annual fantasy football draft. Presented by Backstage Dodgers. This is presented by Cadillac Friday after the postgame on Sportsnet LA.
Kershaw set to go in the opener in St. Louis on Thursday. Dodgers chasing the Cardinals for that second wild card spot. And so big 4 games coming up. Opening on Thursday night to wrap up this road trip. Focus right now, though, is on trying to come from behind against Luis Castillo. Got their lone run and a Jock Peterson home run in the 6th. He's only at 83 pitches, so still plenty more left in the tank. And a night where he has been dominant. Bellinger carves out a pop-up, slicing its way down the line. Irvin has room.
It's another one of those games, another one of those ballparks that 2 runs is not a big lead at all. Of course, yeah, you get one guy on, you bring the tying run to the plate, but in this ballpark where fly balls turn into home runs, it's like playing in Colorado.
Yasmani Grandal takes ball 1. 8 times this season, Castillo has exceeded 100 pitches. 113 is the season high. Jim Riggleman trying to stay ahead of it, though. Sal Romano is starting to loosen as he pours a strike in. 1-1. Dodgers are thinking, go ahead, Jim, stay ahead of it. Anybody but him tonight. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Slicing line drive, base hit to left center. And that one gets to the edge of the warning track, allowing Grandal to race into second with a double.
Maybe this will spark the offense against Castillo. Maybe try and find a way to climb into that Reds bullpen. Now, Yasmani Grandal, are you heating up? Home run yesterday. Now that slashing double.
And now Verdugo to the plate, representing the tying run. Ball 1. Two and 0, and it gets to the backstop. A man at third with 1 out, significantly different than second.
Might have been a cross up right there. It's graded a wild pitch, but it could have been caught if he'd have known what was coming.
So now a number of ways for Alex Verdugo to bring a run home here. On a 2-0 pitch from Castillo, he takes low, ball 3.
Dodgers stranded 2 of these in this situation last night. Runner on third and less than 2 outs. You got to get these conventional, productive outs. You got to execute.
That's a 4-pitch walk, and it'll put him at the corners for Chris Taylor. First walk of the night issued by Castillo. They've got the tying run on. They've got the go-ahead run at the plate as the bullpen continues to warm, and now Jim Riggleman comes out of the first base dugout. That's going to do it for Castillo. So the Dodgers are going to get him out of the game here with 1 out in the 7th, when it was looking like he had a chance to get significantly deeper in this game. But a double from Grandal, a walk from Verdugo, and a very good night for Castillo, but one that ends with the Dodgers within striking distance. Chris Taylor putting together one of his best stretches of the season here in September. 7 for 16 this month with a pair of home runs, including in last night's game. And he comes up with a tying run on base, himself representing the go-ahead run. The new pitcher for the Reds is Sal Romano. And Taylor swings through his first offering, 0-1.
Romano has had some hot streaks during the year. He is not in one right now. His last outing against San Diego gave up a few runs. Fastball, slider, curve. Fastball can top out at around 96.
Lets the 0-1 fly, and Taylor takes strike 2. Romano is in the starting rotation until late August. Still trying to find it in the bullpen. But he's quickly ahead here, 0-2.
Another one of those pieces in the Reds pitching staff. They're just trying to find out what they have.
They got a big guy, one way or another. 6'5", 270. Comes set and deals. Taylor barely gets a piece to stay alive. Dodgers a game and a half back of the Rockies after tonight. 17 remain. Trying to even this series at a game apiece. Trying to finally solve Cincinnati. 0-5 against them this year. Best chance since the first. 0-2 again. Taylor takes this one. 1-2. Of course, this has been one of the big things all season. How do they hit with runners in scoring position? Two on, one out. 1-2. Fouls it again.
Staying alive right now for Chris Taylor, something he's been able to do since the calendar turned to September. 0 for 2 tonight so far, but prior to that in September hitting .500, starting to feel really locked in. So Dave Roberts feeling very comfortable with him up here in this key situation, I'm sure. As hot as he's been swinging the bat.
On another 1-2 pitch. Taylor lifts it to right. Not very deep. Schebler's got it. They're going to send Grandal. Now he retreats. Verdugo to second. 2 gone.
It's just like a first and third delayed steal. It's a setup, it's a play, and the play is force them to throw the ball home, fake the cutoff man out, don't get the ball cut, and move the runner from first up to second. Well executed.
To put the tying run in scoring position for Yasiel Puig.
Disappointing you don't get him in from third, that it's not deep enough, but squeak out enough out of the play that you get that tying run to second.
And now Puig trying to cash in. So close last night to change in the game. Another opportunity late tonight. He looks at a strike. Justin Turner in the on deck circle in the pitcher's spot.
Yasiel pops one out of here, hits a gapper right here. It could be a signature moment for the Dodger season. Turn this game around.
It's getting late.
It sure is. It is no longer a marathon. This is a legitimate sprint to the end.
Oh, 1. Ball 1. Where the Dodgers' issues with runners in scoring position have been most pronounced has been with 2 out. Second and third, 2 out here in the 7th on a 1-1 pitch. Yasiel Puig swings and misses on a ball in the dirt, 1-2.
It's a different chase than the old chase on sliders. He used to be the wide ones that you should recognize early, and he's done a great job of getting much better at chasing the wide ones. The ones that go straight down over the middle of the plate, those are hard for any hitter to lay off of.
Romano delivers just low.
I can't tell you if this is a great take or you're just blinded by the movement on the ball and you don't pick it up, and so you just freeze.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, there are pitches that you just almost feel like you blinked through.
Now it's 2-2. Here it comes. Puig with another take to run the count full. First base is open, but the hottest hitter in baseball is on deck. That one looked more like a legitimately good take.
Yeah, that was. You know, that was gathering the information from the experience from the last swing and miss, and seeing that same spin, that same level, and disengaging. You're swinging on every pitch, but you got to be able to stop it.
Grandal at third. Started to mount this with a double. Verdugo at second. He walked. And now a payoff pitch to Puig. He takes ball 4 to load him up for Turner. What an at-bat for Yasiel Puig, and what an opportunity for Turner. Since returning from the disabled list on August 2nd, nobody in baseball has been better. And he's probably going to face somebody else. Here comes Jim Riggleman. He'll take Romano out of the game. And he'll turn it to David Hernandez. Back in a moment.
The baton, and Yasiel Puig, absolutely amazing at bat. We all know the young Yasiel Puig that overpowered this game and was a free swinger in the midst of trying to develop into a professional hitter. That was a seriously professional at bat.
The Baton is passed to Justin Turner, who will face a new Reds pitcher. David Hernandez has had a heck of a season out of their bullpen. Second night in a row. The Dodgers have had an opportunity late. Bases loaded, 2 gone in the 7th. Turner looks at ball 1. The 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Dave Roberts giving Justin Turner a day out of the starting lineup, and potential for it to pay off in a pinch hit role here. On a 2-0, he swings through a fastball and it's 2-1. Grandal at third, he doubled. Verdugo at second, he walked, and so did Puig. Now Turner with a ground ball right at the shortstop Peraza to end the inning. Stretch time in Cincinnati. The Dodgers leave them loaded and trail 3-1.
First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Matt Kemp bobblehead presented by Budweiser. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Yasiel Puig will walk to extend that inning and load the bases up. Justin Turner unable to come through, and the Dodgers tonight hitless in 4 tries with runners in scoring position.
Throughout the whole year, the Dodgers have done a nice job getting the guy in from third with less than 2 outs, but it is those hits with runners in scoring position and also the hits with runners in scoring position with 2 outs that have really strangled the offense and kind of at times made them boom or bust.
Scott Alexander on to pitch. His last 5 times out, Orly's put up zeros.
Outstanding sinker, getting more and more confidence with the slider when he needs to mix it up. But if the sinker is on, he only needs that pitch.
Top of the order here. And Dave Roberts bringing the lefty on here. There are 2 lefties lined up out of the first 3. Peraza, Jeanette to follow. And a 3-1 game in the 7th. Been a good night for Scott Schebler. He's got a home run and a single. Came in to score after that single and fouls off the first Alexander pitch. Former Dodger. Son of a pair of engineers. Grew up in Iowa. Mentioned on his infield single last time that he was a track guy. Something that his friends talked him into adding to his already long list of stuff he was doing. He was a 4-sport star outside of track in high school. Swings and misses, quickly behind 0-2. He was a shortstop in baseball. And then he played football, he played basketball, he played soccer. And track and field, he added that on top of soccer in the spring. Set school records in a part-time track role in the 55 meters and the long jump, and as part of a relay team. He strikes out on 3 pitches for the first out of the 7th.
Here's the flash of the slider. Boy, it has gotten bigger. He, like Floro, they can survive with their 1 pitch, their good moving fastball, but boy, they are dominant when all of a sudden they show the 2nd pitch in the slider.
3-1 in the 7th. Here's Peraza. Strike 1. Big bouncer to third. Machado quickly gets rid of it to get him.
He is a special talent. The quick exchange and then to the rocket arm, and it just makes it look so easy. That is not routine. Routine for him. Basket catch like Willie Mays, but as an infielder, and then just the exchange and the release.
Scooter Gennett with 2 out. Scooter now 15 for 21 against LA. One and 0. If Alexander can get Gennett, it'd be the first time tonight the Reds hadn't put on at least 1 base runner. 5 innings from Ryu. 6th inning was Floro. He walked 1. Well, the beat goes on. We've got a base runner in all 7. Gennett with a 2-out single.
Guys have a great living example, a hitter in Joey Votto that it looks like he has made a huge impact on this whole lineup. They have a lot of swings that are right in there for a long time, and these guys don't panic either. They're very good with making contact and swinging the bat.
Dave Roberts going to make another call down to the bullpen with the right-handed batting Eugenio Suarez coming up. Pedro Baez coming in. To by El Pollo Loco. Try one of El Pollo Loco's new $5 craveable combos served with chips and a drink today. Back in Cincy where the Reds lead the Dodgers 3-1, bottom of the 7th. And Pedro Baez coming on with a man on and 2 out.
Well, don't look at the 3.33 ERA. He's on a hot streak right now. Last 11 outings, only 1 run. And Pedro is really locked in, and the Dodgers need him to do it again right here.
Jeanette single keeps it alive for Suarez. And he rips a line drive base hit to left center. That'll send Jeanette to third. We got him cornered with 2 out. There's another solid line drive off the bat of one of these Reds hitters. Now the Reds lead baseball in line drive percentage by a pretty decent little chunk.
They swing, they make contact, they have very good approach, and they're playing in a very offensive ballpark. Figure out a way to get the pitching squared around in a hurry. This could be a tough team. They could turn from like 50-50 rebuilding to getting it done.
Phil Irvin has some big runs standing out there as the Reds look for some insurance. Single runs in the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 5th. Swings wildly at a slider, 0-1.
Every night it feels like a playoff game. In the playoffs, the only thing different is you don't have to do the scoreboard watching. You just concentrate on the team across the field.
Ball on a strike. Is that my cue to check the scoreboard?
Yes.
2-0 Arizona in the 1st.
All right.
David Peralta with a home run.
That's the first time this year I've heard Arizona head and said, all right.
I know. It is kind of weird. It's backing out of play. 1-2. Colorado, though, with the best record in the National League since July 1st. Diamondbacks, meanwhile, have gone in the other direction recently. 3.5 games back to start tonight. That's the biggest deficit they've faced this season, having lost 8 of 10. First and third, 2 out, and a 2-run game in the 7th. Baez to Irvin. We'll do it again.
Talk about the example of Votto. Irvin choking up here. Looking for bat control. A little shorter, quicker stroke. Something that Votto does.
You're right, though. There are a lot of things that you can say about the lineup collectively that you can say about Joey Votto as an individual, seeming like it's trickled down as far as the high line drive rate, the high on base percentage, high contact rate. They don't chase very often.
We talked about that when Justin Turner came back. What it was just like to have his presence back, that living, breathing example of a professional at bat.
Irvin lifts one to right. Yasiel Puig drifting to the line to catch it and end the inning. Pedro Baez able to strand him at the corners. We go to the 8th.
All right, thanks, Joe. Just 1 run on 4 hits through the first 7 innings tonight, Jerry. It's getting close to nervous time for this Dodgers team.
Yeah, I'm getting a little nervous, but we said earlier, it's a must-win. 6 outs remaining, though.
All right, Dodgers still have a chance to get the win tonight. Jay here, Sean will be here to break it all down. Alana has a reaction from the clubhouse.
All right, guys. Jock Peterson to lead this inning off. His home run accounting for the Dodgers scoring tonight. His center fielder is Billy Hamilton. David Hernandez comes out to pitch the 8th. Jerry calling it a must win. And it seems like every game at this point kind of is. You see Peterson's home run, our Arco top tier play.
Hey, the value of the games are not going to go down. They're only going to get more and more important.
Peterson ahead in the count, 2-1. Lifts one foul, 2-2. Nolan Arenado with an RBI double. Rockies on the board. 2-1 first inning. I'm sure plenty more to come. Peterson stays alive. Last night we left the ballpark here and it was 1-0 Arizona. Check again to get back to the hotel, get ready for bed, and it's 13-2 Colorado.
I got the same surprise.
6-run inning and a 7-run inning. And a strikeout from Jock to open the 8th. Max Muncy. Bunts it foul.
Not a bad idea. Jock Peterson has done his part at the top of the order, but 2, 3, and 4 are 1 for 8. And it's not going to get it done. You can see from the scoreboard. Need some production here. This last licks for the middle of the order.
Perfectly placed, 0-2.
Cross your T's and dot your I's right there.
Muncy muscles one, short center, off the glove of Peraza. The Dodgers catch a break here in the 8th.
Put it in play, you got a chance. Difference between a strikeout and a blooper is the blooper could fall in. Nice job by Max Muncy.
Who avoids his first career 4-strikeout game by putting that in play. And getting a base hit, getting Machado to the plate, representing the tying run. Manny had a similar play, even a little more difficult last night's game, that he was able to make. At the plate tonight, 1 for 3. And ahead of Hernandez, 1-0. Here's that play last night.
Back to home plate, has to glance to check his fielders. Are they going to call him off or not? That last glance gave him the ability to say, no, I've got to get this, and he did.
And here he got a strike, 1-1. Cue shot, 1-2. Hernandez ready. Here comes. Punch to second. 1, 2. Double play finishes the Dodgers in the 8th. They trail it 3-1. 1:30 Pacific time game. Ross Stripling for the Dodgers, Anthony DeSclafani for the Reds. Stripling made one appearance out of the bullpen since returning from the DL. This will be his first start since August 9th.
Through against Colorado. He'll have 4 days rest after that third of an inning in Colorado. So I think Dave Roberts expecting him with Rick Honeycutt to go about 3 innings, 45, 50 pitches. He's gone that long in his simulated games as Ross got ready to be activated.
Baez came on partway through the 7th, was able to put up a 0, is out there for the 8th. Kirk Casale. Well, it's now 2-2 in Denver. Trevor Story following Arenado's double with an RBI double of his own. For Baez here in the 8th, 1 pitch, 1 out. Up comes Brandon Dixon. Looking ahead to the 9th inning for the Dodgers. Bellinger, Grandal, Verdugo. And per usual this time of year, Dave Roberts with a good bench to choose from. He's got Dozier, he's got Hernandez, Freese, and Kemp, among others. Likely going to be against Raisel Iglesias, though. Who's really good. Strike 1. Chop to third. Machado with a chance to show off that arm. Little flick of the wrist and a bullet. Maximum distance across the diamond. 2 out. Here comes Billy Hamilton for his first at bat tonight. Wonder if he was doing what he was doing in his early days in the majors, where he was pretty much just a pinch runner, staying ready for this game tonight. You know what he would do to get ready for that?
What's that?
Crush Mountain Dew.
Really?
Uh-huh. Perfect fastball, 0-1.
With all the new modern products for energy, he goes old school.
Joey Votto on deck. I'm a Zip Fizz guy myself.
I'm just high on life.
1-1. No caffeine needed, huh?
Oh no, there's plenty of caffeine
in life.
Oh yeah. In the morning there's coffee, in the afternoon there's tea.
So it's not just life, it's coffee and tea.
I thought we were talking about stuff you drop in water. Well, no, but Mountain Dew is old school, yeah. So I'm seriously old school.
2-1. Do you have a particular favorite Mountain Dew? You're just a traditional Mountain Dew guy? Are you a Code Red?
No, I'm just traditional Mountain Dew if I go Dew.
Right. A 2-1 pitch to Billy Hamilton. He punches a bouncer to short. Chris Taylor throws him out. And we go to the 9th. Fasten those seatbelts. Dodgers need 2 to keep the night going. Cincinnati to a 6-0 record against the Dodgers this year. It's 3-1 as we open the ninth.
You've got to hope that he loses a little bit command. It's extra special stuff that you're probably not going to string hits together, but maybe he can set the table with a walk, a little wildness, and you get one big hit.
It's Bellinger, it's Grandal, and Verdugo. Dodgers a game and a half back in the division. Rockies and D-backs tied at 2 early innings in Denver. Do they have a 9th inning rally against one of the National League's best in Iglesias? You know, as a reflection of how good he is in this season, where the Reds have one of the worst records in the National League, 58-1 when leading after 8. Strike one. 58 and
52-1, I think.
52-1.
Yeah, it was a typo.
Nothing in 2.
Which is championship level ratio.
Yeah, either way, 58 wins, 52 wins. The point is one loss.
Yep.
They've lost 83 games, but only one has come when leading after 8. On an 0-2 pitch. Bellinger takes one by the shins, 1-2. Iglesias, one of those guys they've locked up long term. They want him to be part of this rebuild. He comes home with a 1-2 pitch, and he opens the ninth with a strikeout of Bellinger.
He walked Cody last night. And that was a little bit of hope that the Dodgers had. There were 2 outs when he walked them last night, but this strikeout, they get the leading lady.
And now Grandal. Ball 1. Yasmani homered last night. He doubled tonight. It's part of the one that you circle when you look at your scorecard tonight. It was in the 7th inning. Dodgers had the bases loaded, had Justin Turner at the plate. David Hernandez came on, got him to ground out the short to end that inning. 2 balls and no strikes on Grandal. Strike 1. Strike 2. .28-year-old from Cuba rocks and deals at 2-2, and the count goes full on Grandal. The payoff. He walks. And the Dodgers get the tying run to the plate again.
Iglesias fastball changeup combination, a lot like Castillo's, who started this game. Maybe the Dodgers starting to get a little bit of a read on the electric fastball from a righty and then the changeup combination.
For the 3rd inning in a row, Oral, they get the tying run up there.
0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Bringing the tying run to the plate in a bandbox where home runs are a lot easier. You can hit some routine fly balls and get a home run here.
Little pinch run for Grandal with Tim LeCastro. And the rookie Alex Verdugo is 0 for 2 tonight. Watches one just miss. Iglesias to Verdugo with a 1-0 that's in there for a strike 1-1.
Verdugo has shown an ability to pass the baton. Did that in his last at bat to set up the bases loaded 2-out situation after Yasiel Puig walked on a great at bat to load the bases. He won't be afraid to watch the ones on the edges for balls.
We've not seen a moment really at all where he's overwhelmed by the stage. Ahead here 2-1.
Yeah, I would already put him in the top 5 on the Dodgers on knowledge of the strike zone. Just in the short exposure to the big league pitching. Right there with Muncy and right there with Turner and a few others. That recognizing ball strike very early.
On a 2-1. That dives back into the zone. 2-2.
That's ridiculous movement, especially for something that high. Usually movement is better when it's down.
Now the 2-2. Verdugo bounces one right side. They get the tag and the flip to end the game. The Dodgers have dropped the first 2 against the Cincinnati Reds.
It's a classy play by Dixon. One hop and still has the runner LeCastro right there, and Iglesias does not give up on the play, covers first, takes the feed, and deposits the results in the L column for the Dodgers.
They're now 0-6 this season against the Cincinnati Reds. Tonight, a big part of the reason why was their starting pitcher Luis Castillo. 6 1/3, 9 Ks, looked unhittable for stretches tonight.
Change in speeds was absolutely amazing. Only needed 2 pitches to really dominate. Threw a few sliders, threw up fastballs, but the domination came from the fastball changeup combination.
And so less than 24 hours from now, 9:30 Pacific, the Dodgers will try to avoid the sweep against Cincinnati. Will they be a game and a half back still, or will the deficit have grown to 2.5? They'll closely watch the Rockies and the Diamondbacks in Denver. For Orr Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Cincinnati. Access Sportsnet Dodgers begins now.